Chapter 1: The Weight of Regret. The documentary opens with a somber atmosphere, as the distant echoes of laughter from a once vibrant life fade into silence. Jake's voice, tinged with both charisma and sorrow, narrates his life before prison, a swirling mix of youthful ambition, dreams of escape, and a community that nurtured his spirit. As he recounts the fateful night that changed everything, the argument that escalated into violence, emotional sound design amplifies his regrets. The steady ticking of a clock punctuates the tension, each tick reminiscent of lost time. Jake reflects on how choices made in moments of anger can lead to a lifetime of consequences, his confessions layered with a backdrop of fading laughter and the haunting stillness of the prison. This opening sets the tone for the journey ahead, as listeners begin to grasp the weight of regret that clings to Jake like a shadow, marking the start of his path toward redemption. Chapter 2: Behind the Walls. The heavy clank of steel reverberates through the air as Jake stands at the entrance of the high-security prison, a place both alien and suffocating. The walls loom above him, casting eerie shadows that stretch across the cold concrete. Inside, the atmosphere is thick with a mix of fear, desperation, and an unsettling sense of routine. Echoes of distant shouts and the shuffle of worn-out shoes create a symphony of confinement, each sound a reminder of lost freedom. Jake reflects on the stark reality of life behind bars, where every moment feels like an eternity, and the outside world fades into a mere memory. The faces of fellow inmates, hardened by time and circumstance, reveal stories etched into their skin. As Jake grapples with his initial feelings of uncertainty and isolation, he begins to understand that survival here means navigating an intricate maze of unspoken rules and fragile alliances. Chapter 3: The Cast of Characters. In the dimly lit confines of the prison, Jake introduces us to an eclectic mix of fellow inmates who shape his experience behind bars. There's Leonard, the crime boss, whose cold demeanor masks a surprising vulnerability. He reigns over the yard with a steely gaze, commanding respect from other inmates. Next we meet Harold, the philosophical lifer whose wisdom flows like a river, offering insights on existence and morality. His words often echo in Jake's mind long after their conversations end. Then there's Daisy, the quirky newcomer, whose infectious laughter breaks the oppressive silence, reminding everyone that joy can still exist amid despair. Lastly, we encounter Reverend Grace, the compassionate chaplain, whose warmth cuts through the grim atmosphere. She navigates the complex web of emotions with grace, encouraging inmates to seek redemption. The dynamic between these characters forms a fragile tapestry of survival, hope, and humanity, each story reflecting the complexities of life behind the walls. Chapter 4: Survival Tactics. In the unforgiving landscape of high-security prison, Jake learns quickly that survival hinges on adaptability. Each day is a delicate ballet of navigating power dynamics and staying below the radar. He recalls the first aggressive encounter he witnessed, an explosive clash over territory that left him shaken yet resolute. In hushed tones, fellow inmates share whispered strategies. Don't make unnecessary alliances, keep your head down, and always stay alert. Jake adopts the mantra of staying observant, absorbing the rhythms of prison life, the subtle flicker of nervous eyes, the tension in the air before a confrontation. The auditory backdrop is punctuated by tense conversations echoing in the cell block and the distant sounds of thwarted brawls. Compassion is a luxury here, but Jake finds solace in moments of solidarity, sharing brief conversations that illuminate the shared struggle for dignity amidst the chaos. In this rigid world, survival becomes an art form, sketched in fragile alliances and whispered secrets. Chapter 5: Echoes of Humanity. In the midst of concrete walls and despair, small moments of humanity flicker like distant stars. Jake recalls times when a simple shared meal transformed a day, as laughter echoed through the dining hall, rising above the clattering of plastic trays. He narrates a poignant scene where he helped a fellow inmate with a legitimate need, a stark contrast to the hardened persona often expected in prison. These gestures, although fleeting, foster a sense of belonging that transcends the grim reality surrounding them. Jake describes how a brief touch, a hand on a shoulder, or a warm smile can ease the weight of regret that each inmate carries. The soft sounds of whispered conversations blend with the occasional gentle strumming of a guitar, creating an atmosphere of connection and solidarity. In this harsh environment, these echoes of kindness serve as reminders that even behind the walls, the human spirit yearns for compassion and understanding. Chapter 6: The First Connection. As the sun dipped low behind the prison walls, Jake found himself standing in the yard, heart racing, surrounded by flickering faces, illuminated by the fading light. The air buzzed with anticipation. It was time for the poetry reading he had been both eager and terrified to join. Stepping up to the makeshift podium, a simple crate, he felt a wave of vulnerability wash over him. Yet there was also an undeniable spark of courage ignited by the supportive murmurs of fellow inmates. Jake recited his poem, a raw reflection of pain, longing, and hope that echoed against the concrete walls. Words flowed from him like a long-suppressed river, revealing the scars of his past and the weight of his regrets. As he finished, a moment of silence held the air before it erupted into applause, an unexpected embrace that filled him with warmth. In that fleeting connection, Jake realized he was no longer alone. He belonged to something greater. Underground art. In the dimly lit corner of the prison, a vibrant expression of creativity begins to pulse beneath the surface. The first underground art show. Jake, fueled by a newfound sense of purpose, steps into the makeshift gallery adorned with paintings and sketches crafted by fellow inmates. Each piece tells a story of struggle and resilience, capturing the essence of life behind bars. As he wanders through the exhibit, he feels a surge of connection and inspiration. The sounds of rustling paper and paintbrushes brushing against canvas fill the air, mingling with hushed whispers of admiration. Jake picks up a paintbrush, letting the colors guide his emotions, as laughter and applause echo around him, embracing the spirit of camaraderie. This art show becomes more than an event. It transforms into a sanctuary where inmates shed their identities and reveal their raw humanity, reminding Jake of the beauty that can emerge even in the darkest places. Chapter 8: The Chaplain's Influence. As the sun cast long shadows through the barred windows, the chapel became a sanctuary amid the chaos of prison life. Jake had always felt skeptical about religion, yet the gentle presence of Chaplain Grace began to chip away at his reservations. With her warm smile and soothing voice, she reminded inmates of their humanity, emphasizing forgiveness and hope. During a group session, she shared stories of resilience and redemption, inviting inmates to reflect on their choices. "Every moment is a chance to be better," she encouraged softly, her words wrapping around Jake like a comforting blanket. He found solace in the hymns she played, melodies that resonated with his longing for change. The sounds of her spiritual guidance, along with whispered prayers and heartfelt confessions, filled the small room, creating an atmosphere of collective healing. In that space, Jake began to envision a path to redemption, one illuminated by compassion and understanding amid the darkness. Chapter 9: Turning Point Rehabilitation Program. As the sun dipped below the prison walls, casting long shadows across the yard, a new initiative unfolded, a storytelling workshop aimed at fostering healing among the inmates. Jake stood on the fringes, skepticism etched across his face. What's a story going to change, he thought, recalling the scars from his past. But curiosity nudged him, and he took a hesitant step inside. The room buzzed with tension and anticipation, the soothing background music providing a rare moment of calm amidst chaos. One by one, inmates shared their stories, voices trembling yet resolute, unraveling layers of pain and hope. Jake felt a flicker of connection ignite within him, and he slowly began to open up, relinquishing the weight he had carried for so long. The sounds of shared laughter and applause enveloped him, transforming the room into a sanctuary of empathy. In that moment, the seeds of redemption were sown, stained by the scars of their pasts, yet rich with promise. Chapter 10: Confronting the Past. As the group therapy sessions unfold, the atmosphere shifts from guarded silence to an uplifting vulnerability. Jake sits among his peers, the room filled with a palpable tension that gradually transforms into a safe haven. Each inmate shares their story, revealing profound regrets and hidden traumas, stories of lost loved ones, broken dreams, and the choices that led them behind these walls. Jake listens intently, his heart pounding as he grapples with his own demons. When it's his turn, he stumbles at first, but the gentle encouragement from others prompts him to open up. The words flow, raw and unfiltered, as he confronts the pain he's carried for so long. The soundscape mirrors this catharsis. Soft instrumental music rises in the background, punctuated by the occasional sniffle or supportive murmur. In this space, healing begins, and Jake realizes that facing the past might just be the path toward redemption. Chapter 11. The Dark Side of Prison. In the dimly lit corridors of the prison, tension hangs heavy in the air. Jake's heart races as violent confrontations erupt around him, shattering the fragile peace. The cacophony of shouting, the dull thud of fists meeting flesh, and the sharp clatter of metal against concrete reverberate through the yard, a chilling reminder of the thin veneer that separates human connection from chaos. Guards rush to restore order, their shouts mingling with the anguished cries of inmates. As Jake watches, fear grips him. He knows that any misstep could lead to disaster. Yet, amidst the turmoil, he contemplates the moral dilemmas faced by those tasked with maintaining control. He reflects on the complexities of survival in this relentless environment, where loyalty and betrayal coexist in equal measure. The soundscape shifts toward a haunting silence, allowing Jake to grapple with his own vulnerability and the elusive quest for redemption within these walls. Chapter 12. Revelations and Reflections. As Jake sits in the dim light of the common area, the walls around him feel closer than ever. The storytelling workshop has unearthed painful memories, and tonight he is prepared to confront the shadows of his past. With a quivering voice, he reveals the truth behind the crime that led him here, a desperate act driven by a childhood filled with neglect and betrayal. The room falls into a heavy silence, the weight of his words reverberating through the group. Fellow inmates share their reactions, some with sympathy, others with understanding, as their own stories intertwine with Jake's. The soundscape shifts to soft, introspective music, punctuated by quiet sobs and murmurs of support. Each confession acts as a thread that binds them, creating an unspoken bond of shared pain and hope. As he listens to their stories, Jake feels the walls around his heart beginning to crack, making space for redemption. Chapter 13. Bonds Behind Bars. In the dimly lit common area, Jake reflects on the friendships he has forged amidst the unforgiving walls of the prison. The bonds with his fellow inmates have become lifelines, providing comfort and understanding in a world stripped of freedom. As he recounts heartfelt conversations shared over shared meals and late-night discussions, sounds of laughter echo softly, intertwining with the murmurs of camaraderie. Jake recalls the late-night card games, the shared dreams, and the moments of vulnerability that deepened their connections. He witnesses the strength in their unity as they navigate the harsh realities of incarceration together, each life uniquely shaped by choices and circumstances. The chapter culminates with the sound of footsteps approaching, signaling the inevitability of goodbyes. "We're more than our mistakes," Jake muses, realizing that these friendships transcend prison walls, instilling hope and the promise of a shared future, no matter where paths may lead.